All right, well, good evening. And this is course 2, of course, course 2, lesson 64, and we are going to be discussing adding positive and negative numbers. It's really quite easy. All right, so here we go. Ta-da! All right, so adding positive and negative numbers. Think of our number line. Again, our handy-dandy number line. Way over here I have the number 0. Okay, I have to get to -2 before I can add -3. So I'm going to draw my little dotted line, and I'm going to get to -2. There I am at -2, right? Now I'm going to add -3, 3 more negative places. So I'm going to draw my little dotted line. I'm going to go 3 more places. 1, 2, 3. And where do I end up? -5. Okay, so -2 plus -3 equals -5. Well, that was easy. Now, duh, you know how to add positive numbers, right? Here's my little 0. Okay, I got to get to 2. Draw my line to 2. Now I'm going to add 3 more places. Go up here, go over 1, 2, 3, and where do I end up? 5, right? So +2 plus +3 is +5. Now, we used to not put the little positive sign, but for this lesson, just so you get used to it, we're going to sign each number. So -5, +5. Well, this is easy, 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 easy. What if we have a negative number and a positive number? Oh my goodness. All right, start at 0. Get over there to -3. So we're going to draw a little go to -3. All right, there I am at -3. Now I'm going to add 5 places. So draw a little dotted line. Let's go. We have 1, 2, 3, now 4 and 5. Where do we end up? +2. What? It's the truth. +2. All right, so Mrs. Van Zalen, explain it. All right, I got some splaining I can do. Here we go. We have some rules. First rule, the sum of 2 numbers with the same sign, okay, could be positive or negative, same sign, has an absolute value to the sum of their absolute values. Its sign is the same sign of the numbers. Okay, what do we mean? Remember, absolute value just means how many places a number is from 0 on a number line. So if I have -2 plus -2, the absolute value would be 2 plus 2, right? And that would equal 4. But since I'm working with negative numbers, I am going to have the sign will be a -4. Now this one, if there is no sign, that means they're positive. So I have a +2 plus a +2. Hello, that's going to be a +4. Okay, because it's 2 places from the 0, then 2 more places from the 0, so we get +4. Our next law, if the sum of 2 numbers with opposite signs has an absolute value equal to the difference of their absolute values, its sign is the same as the sign of the number with the greater absolute value. All right, so I have -5 plus +3. Okay, opposite signs. I'm going to think absolute value, that would just be 5, right? And 3. And now I have to think difference, right, as equal to the difference of their absolute values. So that would be 2. And what sign? The sign is the same as the sign of the number with the greater absolute value. Well, that would be 5. And what sign did 5 have? Negative. So it's -2. All right, what if I have a +10 plus a -4? I'm going to think my absolute value is 10. My absolute value is 4, subtract the difference, and I'm going to get 6. And what is the largest absolute value? 10. What is the sign for 10? Positive. So this is a positive 6. With me so far? Maybe? All right. The last one, our favorite, the sum of two opposites, it's 0. Negative 3 plus positive 3 is 0. Why? Because if I get to negative 3, right, there I am at negative 3. Now I'm going to add positive 3, 3 more spaces. Where do I end up? I end up at 0. So if you have the same number, but they're opposite signs, will always equal 0. Okay, it could be negative 1,000,000 plus positive 1,000,000. It's going to be 0. All right? So let's look at some examples. Some examples here. I'm just going to practice, all right? So remember, when we're adding the like, when they have the same sign, it's the sum of their absolute values plus the sign that they're carrying. So negative 54 plus negative 78, well, I like to do my math vertically, so I'm going to do it like that. 8 and 4 is 12, and 7 and 5 is 12, plus 1 is 13, so it's going to be 132. Is it going to be negative or positive? Well, it's going to be negative. I got negative here. Negative there means negative here. All right, now I have a positive 45 and a negative 67. Uh-oh, what am I going to do? It has to be the difference of the absolute values, right? If they're two different, I have to difference of the absolute values. So the absolute value is 45. This absolute value is 67. I'm going to take 67 and take 45 away from it, because that's the only way to do a subtraction. Have the largest number first and then the smaller number. So let's do that. Let's subtract. We get 22. Now, which absolute value is greater, 45 or 67? Well, Mrs. Van Zalen, you don't ask silly questions. Of course it's 67. And what is the sign of 67? Negative. So my answer is negative 22. And, of course, our last example. Here we go. I have a positive 92 or a negative 92 plus a positive 92. What's that going to be, everyone, all together? 0. Because it's the same, or it's the opposite numbers, right? Positive, negative, it's going to be 0. That is that. Now, I'm going to do a couple of the practice questions with you, if I can get that paper to release itself from the other papers. There we go. Okay. So now, we have this big, huge, I tell you, huge problem. We can do this two different ways, okay? We can just go across like we normally do, and we could say, okay, let's see. Negative 3 plus negative 2, well, that's going to be negative 5. So now I have negative 5 plus positive 7. Have different signs. I have to think subtraction. So that's going to equal 2, right? 7 minus 5 is 2. What sign do I use? The bigger number. So I have a positive 2 plus a negative 4. Uh-oh. I have different signs. So I need to think subtraction. 4 minus 2 is 2. But which sign should I use? Which is the greatest number? Well, 4. So I'm going to use negative 2. Now, I could have simply used my commutative and associative properties and rearranged the terms and added all the numbers with the same sign first, right? So I could have said, all right, I'm going to do negative 3 plus negative 2 plus negative 4, and that is going to be what? I have 3, 2, and 4. That's going to be negative 9, right? Now, plus positive 7. I'm still going to think, what's the difference? Because I have opposite signs. So 9 minus 7 is 2, which is the biggest number, 9. So I'm going to use the negative sign, -2. Oh, Mrs. Van Zalen, why are you throwing fraction at us? Because it's the same thing. All right, so I have 2 negatives. So what's my answer going to be? You should know. Negative. Okay, now we just add them. Well, but can I add them? They have different denominators. No, I can't add. I have to have a common denominator. Well, I'm going to make that 6. So -2. What did I multiply 2 by to get 6? I multiplied it by 3, right? So it's going to be -2 3/6 plus -3. I'm going to put a 6 as my denominator. What did I multiply 3 by to get 6? 2. So it's 2/6. Now I can add them together. What do I have? I have -5 and what? 5/6. Okay? So we still have to follow the rules of the common denominator and in addition follow the rules of the negative and positive signs. This just happened to be 2 negatives, so our answer is negative. Now sometimes they're going to ask you a little story question, sort of. Okay, so on one stock trade, Mr. Jones lost $450, but on a second trade, he gained $800. What was the net result of the 2 trades? Well, since he lost $450, I'm going to represent that as a -$450. And then he gained $800, so I'm going to represent that as a +$800. Now I have 2 different signs, so what must I do? I must subtract the absolute values. So 800 minus 450. Oh, I can't do that. I have to borrow. Oh, not that far. So I have 350. What was the largest absolute value, 800 or 450? 800. What sign does 800 have? Positive. So this is a gain of 350, but of course we're talking about money, so you should write it like this, $350. And then if you wanted to, you could write the word gained. Okay, 350 gained. Now, what do I want you to work on tonight after being so thoroughly enlightened? All right, so lesson 64, your assignment. I would like you to do practice set A, C, E, and G at home. Okay, try to do this yet tonight at home. Just to get that positive and negative adding in your head. Then you are going to do the following problems. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 25, 27, 28, and 30. And, oh, looky there. The secret word is jumping jacks. Put that on your paper and you will get some extra points. All right, I will see you tomorrow.